At the end of Resident Evil 3, I didn't mention this. These bonus cards show where the heroes go after Re3. Let's pick the important ones. First card, Jill Valentine. After escaping Raccoon City, she heads to Chris' hideout in Europe. Inside only a knife and a pool of blood. No one else. Here, Jill says, "Shall find Chris, no matter what." So where did Chris go? What made him run so fast he left his favorite knife behind? Well, get to that later. Next, 3 other cards can link together. The first one is set at the end of Retwell. After Leon, Sherry, and Claire escape the Arkley area by train. They end up out in the wild. They call for rescue, but Claire worries about her brother. If she waits for rescue, the detour takes too long. So she says goodbye and goes to Europe to find Chris. Meanwhile, Sherry and Leon aren't exactly living easy. Because traces of the G-virus remain in Sherry, the US military protects her. They run tests on her from time to time. And on the other side, to protect Sherry as much as possible, and given his own situation, Leon joins the US government and becomes an agent. Also, these cards include one for Grim Reaper HUNK. The text is basically the same stuff. Like HUNK, "You're insane again, you're the only one who made it back to file a report." But the main thing is HUNK shows his face again clearer this time. Now for what comes next. Think I'm doing Resident Evil for this episode. No. Re4 is set in 2004, but Re3 ends in 1998. There's a lot to explain in between. Only then can we step into Re4 properly. Across that 6-year gap, Capcom filled in tons of stories. Mainline and spin-offs like Outbreak 1, Outbreak 2, Gun Survivor 1, Gun Survivor 4, and the mainline entry, Code Veronica, plus Darkside Chronicles, Umbrella Chronicles, and more. What I need to clarify, Outbreak 1 and 2, also called Escape from Raccoon City, cover the outbreak right as it starts during Retwo's period. You play a plumber, a reporter, a bartender, regular people working together to escape zombie-surrounded Raccoon City. These games focus on online co-op, and their story clashes with the main canon in places. For example, canon says the US wiped Raccoon City with a single nuke, but in these spin-offs, it's several, maybe even a dozen. That's why many veteran fans don't treat them as core canon. Also, we can't deny this, after the outbreak, besides the heroes and the boss villains escaping, some ordinary civilians also got out by their own strength. So if someone tells you only Leon and Claire survived the Raccoon City incident, you can throw Outbreak in their face. To keep the timeline straight, the Outbreak duology and Gun Survivor stories will be covered in bonus episodes. This episode's main story starts right after Resident Evil 3, with Resident Evil, Code Veronica. Its English title is Code Veronica, so we'll call it CV. And this sequel, the game quality is seriously high, so high that many players feel this is the real Resident Evil 3. Right, last episode, I mentioned that Resident Evil 1.9 got promoted into Re3 for various reasons. Originally it was just an Retwo spin-off, now I'll explain why. Sega launched its 6th and final console, Dreamcast. They hoped it would recover from the Sega Saturn era and compete with Sony's PlayStation. So Sega poured money into marketing and tried to secure hot IPs as early releases on their platform. That's where they approached Capcom. They struck a deal on the next game after Re3, Resident Evil, Code Veronica, as a Dreamcast debut. In February 2001, month before Pstwo's launch, Code Veronica hit Dreamcast. And they pushed the slogan, "A Resident Evil sold only on Dreamcast." Honestly, once that slogan landed, with the game's strong quality and generous length, Dreamcast sales did spike for a while. But that same Dreamcast first marketing also held the game back. Its sales ended up far behind the earlier entries. Then only 9 months later, Capcom announced Code Veronica Complete/X would release on both PS2 and Dreamcast. And the new version restored many cut scenes right as the series hit its 5th anniversary. Pre-orders even got a bonus video, Wesker's report. So Dreamcast buyers who bought the system for the latest felt completely played. Capcom slapping itself in the face classic. Meanwhile, Dreamcast launched with more problems, no Saturn backward compatibility, GD-ROM flaws that fueled piracy, and PlayStation exclusives were simply too dominant. So in early 2001, Sega officially discontinued Dreamcast. And that's it, Sega exited the console market. From all of that, we can see the true story follow-up after Resident Evil 2 is Code Veronica. And because of Capcom's partnership with Sega's console, then Capcom executive Yoshiki Okamoto said, from then on, titles debuting on PlayStation would use numbers, and releases on other platforms would use subtitles. They later walked it back, which meant PlayStation fans, Capcom's old home audience, couldn't play the newest Resident Evil for a long time. So they took the spin-off Resident Evil 1.9 and promoted it into Resident Evil 3. Now that hardware's covered, let's talk about the game. From what I explained, you know the Complete/X version adds extra cutscenes. And those added scenes mainly rework Wesker. In the original, Wesker shows up late and gets beat down hard. His screen time is basically counted in seconds. In the Complete/X version, Capcom rewrote his role. He can even fight the final boss to a draw. Basically, he's set up like the series' strongest villain type. He keeps returning later talking big and you still can't kill him. So, all things considered, in this episode, I'll use the Dreamcast release of Resident Evil, Code Veronica, Complete/X, for footage. The original differs too much, so I won't compare it here. Alright, story officially begins. Do you remember what I said in episode 1 of this series? In that episode, I mentioned Umbrella originally had 3 founders. Founder #1 is Oswellie Spencer, still not on screen, but already mentioned. Founder #2 is Dr. Marcus, who dies in ReZero. Founder #3 is Edward Ashford. This time, well, focus on Edward. Not long after the progenitor virus was discovered, about 2 or 3 years, Edward was infected in an experiment and died. His assistant, also his son, was Alexander Ashford. Alexander inherited the family and became the 6th head of House Ashford. At that time, Marcus, one of the big 3, was obsessed with his T-virus research and didn't care about company affairs, with the Ashfords losing a pillar overnight, and Alexander proving nowhere near his father's level in leadership. The internal power struggle among researchers shifted fast. Spencer seized the advantage and took control of most of Umbrella's power. Little by little, the Ashford family declined. To restore his family and to defeat Spencer, Alexander decided to launch a secret project in the shadows. He built a huge lab and underground base in Antarctica. When it was ready, he took DNA samples from his ancestor, the founder of the Ashford legacy, the first family head, Veronica Ashford. Then he artificially recombined the basic genetic structure to raise the ceiling of intelligence. Finally, he used of meaning. Kids born this way would all be geniuses, one after another. In the end, Alexander got a set of twins. They were Alfred and Alexia. Alexander named this secret project Code Veronica. Sure enough, the twins surpassed even the founder's legendary intellect, and Alexia was the standout. But in 1982 they were 11. They found a memo in their father's secret room. It spelled out why and how they were born. Once they learned the truth, the siblings saw their father as weak and useless. They believed the Ashford revival should be led by them. So the brilliant older sister, Alexia, began researching. A new virus to counter Spencer's T-virus. After closely studying ants, she decided their system was ideal. One nest has only one queen, all soldiers and workers are her slaves. As long as the queen lives, the colony replenishes endlessly even after losses. And with her superhuman IQ, she thought she was perfect to be that queen. Everyone else was just the masses, meant to be ruled. So Alexia extracted queen ant genes and fused them with the progenitor virus, creating a new virus. She called it T-Veronica. No sooner was it made than she decided to test it on her worthless father. But once the virus was injected into a host, the mutation was so fast it destroyed Alexander's brain and body tissue. He instantly became an uncontrollable monster. With no other choice, they locked their father in a sealed underground room in the Antarctic facility. Alexia realized the virus still had room to improve. The big issue, mutation, caused the host's intelligence to drop hard. And the mutation was so rapid the cells couldn't handle it. That's also a key reason the skin rots after injection. Because she planned to use this virus on herself. No one wants to turn into a pile of mush. Even smart mush is still not acceptable. After thinking it through, Alexia realized only cryosleep could work. Using extreme cold to suppress viral activity, letting her cells evolve slowly. By her calculations, it would take 15 years to fully merge with the virus. So the freezing began. Her brother Alfred stayed outside to look after her, and he told the world his sister died after being infected in an experiment. But one point matters: at that time, Alfred loved his sister. Like really loved her. You can tell from Alfred's diary. And a confession letter he never gave to her. Over those long 15 years, he grew unbearably lonely. And gradually formed a second persona, his sister's. So while you play, you'll see him in makeup and a dress, acting as his sister and talking to himself. Later he was appointed director of the Antarctic facility, and also commander of an umbrella-controlled island called Rockfort. Over the next period of time, Alfred built up the island military training grounds, a private mansion, and a prison. Quick tip: that training facility produced serious operators. Our Grim Reaper HUNK graduated from there. In-game, you find a file saying HUNK escorted a sealed capsule to the island a few days before the story begins. He even toured the training grounds and made a few remarks, and so on. Alright, setup is done. Let's start the plot. At the end of Retwo, after splitting from Leon and Sherry, Claire infiltrates Umbrella's Paris facility alone.
Don't move.
Your identification number is WKD 4496.
Perfect.
Go on. Get out of here. This place is finished. I don't know, it might have been a special forces team. But in any case, this prison's been taken over. The troops have been wiped out.
What are you saying?
You're free to leave the complex. But you may as well know you have no chance of getting off this island.
And what about you? What are you going to do?
Don't worry about me.
So why is this island already finished? And who is this wounded guy, anyway? Can Claire escape this island and reunite with Chris? Because Code Veronica's length is seriously generous. And another story also starts right after this one. This episode can only serve as an intro. We'll cover the rest of the game and Code Veronica's follow-up next time.